So I'm here again with Debbie, and Debbie is the one that we did a van tour with you.
The high top.
Just a few months ago when you got your high top, and there's her high top there. And she's going to do a little bit of switching around with her bed. She did change it once.
And it was a fail for me. It isn't working out. But, you know, you have to try stuff, you know.
Right.
And I was staying at my daughter's house. She was in Sacramento, and they're during that atmospheric river. So we only had one day when there was no rain to get out in the driveway and make it. So I never got to try it out until I left in the rain even. So my first night was out at a rest stop, and it was okay. But I'm finding it's not going to work. It's too high for me. So
well, let's take a look. So before you had your bed lengthwise.
Yeah, and it was a cot, and I actually wanted to go to having a wooden build-out, you know, bed frame. And I was using the idea from the other video you did of the lady in the Honda Element that used the PVC pipe with the flanges on the ends.
Okay.
And they're nice. They're very stable and they're easy to do, but this configuration doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work for you.
It's just too high up. I can't lounge on the bed comfortably as far as sitting up.
So that's the flange there, and that's the PVC pipe, and then you've got it going up in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's too
so
high.
I ended up with just two legs, and then it's resting on the armrests of the back seat where they have the drink holders. So
okay, can I take a look back here?
Yeah.
So your cup holders are under that wood. Oh, you cut it nicely around there, though.
It looked great. So I got another leg there. And I used this bracket that I saw in another YouTube video. But it's
too high.
If you can't sleep, it doesn't matter what you got going on. So I need to be lower down,
right,
and be able to stretch out better, you know.
Okay.
Because I can just make it in with my height, 5'3". I can do it, but it's not comfortable.
Not comfortable. And we want to be comfortable.
We want to be comfortable.
Okay.
Because it's just too high. I can't sit comfortably.
Are you going to keep your table or no?
No. Well, I'm gonna keep the piece of board and stuff, and if I think of something later, because it's a removable table, you know, you just pop it right on and it sets down. I'll see. But if not, I'll just buy myself some little setup table, and that's what I can use, because I want to be able to just get back to doing some artwork.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't been like I should, you know.
Right. Okay. So this is what it looks like right now. So she's got her table there, and she has her too high of a bed.
So I'm going to take that same piece that the new one, turn it sideways, and then I will tie it in with the height of the refrigerator. You know, and the refrigerator will have a piece of board on it, so I don't keep hitting buttons when I'm sleeping. And so it'll only ever have my feet or my head on it, so it should be fine weight-wise. And then most of my body will be on the big piece of board, you know.
And is your refrigerator about 15 inches high?
I don't know. I got my tape measure on me. Let's go around.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, so right now, this is what?
17 almost. Almost.
And a piece of board this thick will be sitting on here. Yeah, it should be fine.
I think you're going to have some nice storage under there as well.
That's how I traveled before. As long as I can put those same bins underneath, it'll just be long ways again instead of sideways.
How high do you think your bed is right now? Did you ever measure it?
I don't know. I pictured myself having a step stool or something, which would have been fine if I could comfortably lean back. But I thought with the high top I would be okay, but it's just not comfortable. You know, you try stuff, it didn't work.
Sure.
It's what, 22? Under 20, 21 and a half. And this is a 3-inch mattress. Yeah, but I went to the high density foam instead of the memory foam.
Oh,
actually, I haven't noticed a difference between a 6-inch memory foam and the 3-inch high density. It really is nice. I had some of that egg crate stuff. So I've got 2 pieces in the middle of just a thin piece, I thought, in case for my hips. You know. It's interesting how weird these seats, you know, the floors are in these minivans.
I know.
You know? So,
very difficult to work around.
I mean, I can eyeball it. As long as I can fit these containers that I used to use.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
And I also want to be able to make sure I can get my tent in and out. Because right there by you is where I keep my clam.
Okay.
That I use all the time.
Well, I'm going to let you get organized. You have another lady that's going to help you move your wood.
Give me a hand.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go work in the truck.
So this is that bracket that's holding the table.
Yes, this is like what they use for RVs, right?
Yeah.
And it just slides in and out.
Yeah, you need room to swing. I just have to move the fridge anytime I want to take it in and out
Right.
the table.
Right.
But
All right, so you've got your plan.
you have to try stuff. And
Yeah.
that one just was a fail.
All right. We'll check back with you later.
Okay.
So
We brought it in. It was sideways. We curved it in. If we can get it.
let's do
sideways
the opposite.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it came in this side. 'Cause
So
we purposely carved off some of the corners to make it be able to
Okay.
get in.
Okay.
And
How
that went
can
on.
we turn it sideways though? That's the thing.
Well, you end up, little bit of maneuvering.
Can I ask you a question? Are you going to cut any length of this at
Yeah,
all?
but I don't know how much. See, I don't want to cut off in case
Yeah.
I need it later.
Yeah. I understand what she's saying. What about if we try to get it up, make it to here, and then when we have it already here, try to do like this?
Or even if we can make it to the front part is where that curves in.
Uh-huh.
You know, where the seat belts are, the
Yeah.
wall curves in.
I have,
So that's why I'm thinking maybe putting those up is a better idea than having them down, because that's a piece of plastic in the way.
what about
I cannot
if
see my
you
dog.
lift the back, okay? Try that first. Lift the back out, up. Lift the back up, leave this down.
Right?
Okay, let's try that.
Because it's way narrower back here. Because the whole thing curves in. So this
Yeah.
opening is way narrow.
Right. Let's try that. Lift the back up. Let's try it that way.
Lift it up this way and then tip it
That's
out.
what I was
Yeah, we
saying.
tried that. Didn't
We
work.
had to go out that way.
But we haven't tried lifting it up from the back.
I think we're not going to be able to tip it up until we get to that wider spot. So
Yeah.
the plastic goes in. So I think those seatbelt things need to go up.
Well, here's
Out of
my
the way.
thinking. There's room here. This will drop down. If we lift it up, this may drop down a little bit. Just give it a try.
What might drop down?
Just trust me.
What might drop down?
That you have room here.
But it's not going to go past the bump here.
Yeah, see, I'm just saying the wall goes
But it
where
might.
the seatbelt in, the walls gives us some extra width. So if we move those holders up
Oh,
out
I
of
see
the
what you mean,
way
and go past
and
them.
go, if we get them to that level, then yeah, we can either go this, we can try going up a little bit in the front and going on out.
Uh-huh.
So slide the seatbelts up.
So side sleep belts back up. They're in those pieces of plastic, I think, are in the way.
Yeah.
It's just more to have to pass by. Okay, seeing how we have that little wider spot.
Right.
So, but we all have the lift up to be able to clear that. And then we can tilt it. We just get up to where it's that wide spot, and then we tilt it.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Come as forward as you can here and lift up, right?
Yeah.
Not going to go past here though. But it'll go in here.
That's what I meant. That's where we get that extra width on each side. We
Okay.
can get up to that level.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
And
trying
then-
to get it level here.
Exactly.
And then we should be able to tilt one side, the other.
Which
Sounds
way are
like
we
a
gonna
plan.
tilt once we get it up there.
If I remember right, it went front up.
Okay.
Front being this.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
makes
that
sense.
We could,
Alright.
I mean, that's
We ended up needing to cut the wood.
reach in and
This way?
I don't know.
When we go to the front?
I don't know.
You're unique, Grandma. Shirley's coming.
It looks like they're still squaring off her bed.
I'm coming in a specific amount because I want to be able to slide my clam in under the bed.
Okay.
So I needed these legs in a certain amount.
Okay, and how are you doing the legs?
There are those flanges with the PVC pipe, but this fits right in here. So this is the part you cut to adjust the height,
Okay.
and this part stays in. It just screws in. And then so one's on the bottom, one's on the top. So we're attaching the ones underneath the bed. These will be sitting on the floor.
I like the idea of you building it around the things that you carry.
Yeah.
I tend to do that too.
Because we went and measured my storage things that have to go underneath to make sure we hit it.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very good, Deb.
When you're ready.
Now this is going to screw it in. Oh, you are fast.
Yeah, she's good. Move this. Okay.
Did you want space in the front though, Deb?
Well,
No, she
If I have to, I could take a little piece, because I made that board plenty big. I think I could take a little bit.
Okay, so I have to get in there and measure from underneath that flange.
I want to be able to get the, because I cut the board a little bigger than the fridge, so I should be okay. Because I'll to take the fridge out, I have to lift the board up, so I should be okay. I just want to be able to get my fingers in there to open the fridge.
Okay, we're going to start with 12.5 inches.
Total, with the flange and the thing. Okay.
And then we may have to cut it again a little bit off, but we'll start there.
Okay.
I am back with Debbie again. So now we're gonna see her after. All right, so your bed was the other way.
It was sideways, and now we've gone back to being on the side.
Okay.
I did get a good idea from you, so I've made part of my bed be the top of the fridge. I just put a pillow there at night and a piece of wood over the buttons. And that way I have a bigger doorway to get in and out. I don't have the fridge in the middle of the doorway.
Yes.
You know? So
yes.
this is great. I love this part. And I'm sleeping so much better now. I went to the high density foam mattress instead of memory foam. I'm finding out I love it. I'm only having to use 3 inches to get the same comfort as a 6-inch memory foam. So that gave me some more height, you know.
Okay.
That did help. I'm happy.
You're happy with it. Okay.
I'm happy. I'm sleeping again, so I'm happy. You know.
Yeah, you gotta sleep. Now, which way do you put your head?
I think I'm gonna end up with it over here.
You like
most
it
of the
there?
time, unless I'm on some crazy incline. The setup for everything else is the same, and that's the wood that I put on top of the fridge. Just a piece left over from making the bed.
Okay.
And then I just moved that when I need to get in the fridge. You know, so everything's working okay with my fridge. Still delighted to have that. It was worth getting the solar for it. Solar's working fine. And since I'm only using it for my fridge and maybe to run those 2 little lights that I use, you know, it's overcast. We've had rain and stuff. I'm not having trouble. It stays at 100% almost all the time. But I'm running very low things off of it. I use my Jackery. I'm still using my same little Jackery I've been using for 4 years.
What
and
size
that
is
does
that?
my phone, just the old little 240.
240.
That's the first one they came out with. You know,
And that's running your fridge.
No, that's running charging my phone and electronics. The fridge is off the solar on the roof.
Oh, okay.
And that's all, basically all, it's powering that and my 2 little light fans. And so it's never out of power.
Great.
You know, so I'm used to having solar. I'm afraid to do, I'm afraid of using too much. I'm sure I'll relax later when I get more used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you had your solar?
Just when I got the high top, right after that, I went and met somebody and they helped me put it on. So May.
And how many watts do you have?
I have 2 100-watt flexible panels up there. I have, and that, right in there is my board that we made to hold all the little meters and stuff that you do.
Your
It's up on the
board.
roof there, I just shoved in.
Where's the board?
Up on the shelf there.
Oh.
That's all my electronics.
Oh, and that's specifically for your refrigerator and your solar?
Yeah, that's all the little gauges for your solar to keep track of how everything is, you know. And it's also got some switches over there where I can plug in USBs. I have one for 12 volt that I can plug in. You know.
Okay.
And actually, it's kind of tucked in. You probably can't even see the switch box.
Those are your switches?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, that's kind of fancy.
Yeah, it's basically just wedged in there so that I can pull it out if they need to work on it for any reason.
And you finished off your roof with this lovely material.
Yeah, because, you know, you end up with that gap.
You end up with a little gap.
Wood and
Yes.
stuff. And I didn't know what to do, so I bought a huge tablecloth at Home Goods for about $20. And that way I had all these finished edges already hemmed and finished for me. And then the rough, and so I just trimmed all the sides off.
Yeah.
And just, so there's 4 pieces, you know, put up. And it's just duct tape on the top.
Yeah.
On the board.
And you have plenty of room. You have large bins in here
Yeah, I
like
still
that.
have plenty of storage.
A lot of storage, and then you have come
Everything
around.
up top is something soft that won't hurt anything if it falls down. So it's all clothing, extra coats, things like that. My suitcase. And, you
Yeah.
know,
I was real impressed with this. I think this is a great idea.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, and then I raised my wall in the back so eventually I'll paint this so it looks a little better. But it's just a piece of plywood. I had them trim it to the height I needed, and then we just plopped it in. So that,
It's back
because
here
my kitchen's on
too.
the other side. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
in the back, that cupboard and stuff in the back would go in my kitchen.
Well, let's show your kitchen because this is a new video, so
Yeah,
people
that's
might
true.
not have seen your other video. And then, you know, it would be kind of cool. Let's tell you a little bit more about your story. I love the way you did your table here. It's just on hooks, hook and eyes, I think they call these.
Yeah.
And then it just comes down. It's got little legs on it here. And there's hinges on her legs here.
Just regular hinges.
Yeah. It just folds down. The bookcase turned on its side because these
Yeah.
were the legs.
So
huh?
this is the same piece, you know, the top and the bottom are from that same piece of bookcase. And then when I'm not stationary, this little trash can is not back here. It's one of those backpacker ones that I had bought because I thought I was going to Alaska.
Yeah.
And, for the bears, you know, that could lock.
Mhm.
So when I'm traveling, it's up in the passenger seat, this way, sideways. And I just use, so when you're traveling, you can find places to throw your trash away. So I just use smaller bags and dump it as I go. I don't have to save it up for a few days. Because everything in here, anything to do with like when I've made food, and the closet or whatever I use to wipe off the dirty dish that all goes in this trash can. And that way the food ones aren't out where it can be smelled easy. And then this is just my normal little trash can for odds and ends. And when I'm traveling, this is my trash can out back here. Because I know I'm going to be able to dump it easy. And then on our last video, I had made that water bottle that I used to store my Walmart bags. That it didn't fit anymore, so I found this cute little one.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
looks great.
smaller version of these, and it looks so cute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. And then these are the ones magnets that hold up my my window screens.
Okay.
But out here,
Yes,
it's so
I remember
cold,
your
we
window
don't have the
screens.
windows open, you know.
Mhm.
Your screens up.
Terrific.
So this is tools and food, and this used to be my refrigerator,
Oh, yeah.
basically, because I just used like a cool box kind of thing, you know. So and because there's a lot of foods you don't have to refrigerate, it just needs to be out of the sun, you know. So that was this. There was a few things I would keep inside in a lunchbox thing, and then this, you know, you can put this up and the sun's not beating on it.
Great.
Art supplies, and someday I'll get around doing art again. That was my whole thing that I thought I'd get from that sideways build, is have a table ready whenever I wanted to do some artwork or do a project. But it wasn't worth having the bed sideways and not getting sleep.
Okay.
Sleep's more important. I'll figure something out eventually.
Oh, you figured out a lot of things, so
Yeah,
you're doing great.
yeah. It's going okay. It's been nice. This has been a great group.
Oh,
And we got a nice build going on that lady's truck.
yeah. You helped her with her tool.
Truck.
We wouldn't have been able to do it if you hadn't brought your tools.
Right, and so it's a fair exchange, because since I don't know how to use the tools, it's so nice to camp with people that do.
Oh, okay.
And that, you know, I'm learning a little every time we make something. So I'm glad to loan out the tools, you know, and in exchange I'm
Yeah.
learning how to use them, or they helped me with my build, you know. So it worked out.
Everybody
We
shares.
help-
We just
help each
share.
other.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So in the last video, I got some comments that people wanted to know more about your story. They found you so delightful and so interesting. So tell me your story, Deb. When did you start?
Started in 2019, the first WRTR.
Okay.
So I got out there, I've been watching, I'd been doing a lot of care work, you know, for my sister was ill.
Caregiver.
Gone through a lot of caregiving stuff,
Mm-hmm.
having done my parents before that. And, you know, I started watching I just liked watching the tiny home TV shows where they make, you know, they just make them, and I really fascinated living tiny. And then these van builds popped up with Bob Wells on the YouTube, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to get the minivan and just take some trips and get away from the stress, you know. So I thought, made the plan. I want to go hit the WRTR and the RTR. That will be my trip. You know?
Did you go in this minivan? This was your car.
Yeah. Well, when I picked it out, it was after that. So I knew I wanted
specifically.
luggage racks. I knew I wanted, just a minivan with the fold-in seats. Those basic things I went and looked for. I got it at CarMax, and I've been very satisfied with it. Knock on wood, it's been good. I have no complaints about the van. And so I get out to this. I've never camped, so I'm just watching all these things, and every YouTuber has a list of essentials that they say, oh, you got to have this. So I come out with so much stuff thinking that they say I got to have this, And it was like 22 degrees, 24 degrees that first night. And I thought, looking at the ceiling, what the hell did I do? What am I doing out here? I parked next to the nicest lady. She was also in a minivan. I was so lucky. And she was an experienced camper. And she had just rented the minivan for this event, to come. She had still working. She's younger than me. She's still working now. But she's used to camping, so she just rented a minivan, threw a cot in it, threw her, her gear, her little camp stove. She knew how to do all this stuff. The little dog, the whole bit. Drove herself out, and we're still friends. I see her often, and I text her. We talk all the time. But I just learned so much from her, just that. And then when the WRTR was over, it was that first year they had it out in Bouse. And then we drove over to here. And that was the year that it was huge. It was 10,000 people. And it was very organized. They did a great job. But they set all the washes up like streets. And they had kind of categories, maybe people into music, people into yoga, people, things like arts and crafts people. So we chose the art row. Anyways, but it was like a parking lot, and then on the other side was a parking lot, and then you'd go through a wash, and it'd be the next street. So to go to the meetings, we would walk through 3 washes to get over to the meetings.
Okay.
But that was the last year they were able to, because it was huge. I have to admit, I can see where it would be hard on the land, for that many people to come for such a short time. But anyways, it was good. And we met another lady with a minivan, so we ended up 3 minivans in a row. And the one I first met, she eventually had to go back to work. So I just kept camping with the other lady we met. And she's another experienced camper. She was from Wisconsin in a minivan. And her brother had helped her build a really nice kitchen in the back with a fold-down table, very organized. And that's where I got the idea of having a table in the back and having my kitchen in the back. Before I had done what Bob Wells said, at night you can either have a table set outside for cooking, or inside just warm up water to steam, have the heat go into the van. That's what saved me because I just didn't know how to deal with that kind of cold other than putting every blanket I owned on me. I had so much stuff with me. It was insane. But let's see. So my sister, she had a stroke, and then she had cancer. We found cancer the next year, got her through chemo and radiation, and for a few months she was still able to be at home, but then the things that she's left with, the symptoms from the radiation really did a number on her, and she just wasn't happy, and she was hard to take care of, and it was hard to be around. And I'm not a trained medical person at all. So we looked around, found her assisted living close by, and got her moved over there. And then I closed out. I was in a mobile home, and I closed it out, and stuff, and got rid of it, and thought, I'll just start coming down to visit her, or be up to look for an apartment up near my kids in Northern California. That was the event. That was the original intent, was to just find an apartment somewhere. But housing in Northern California is so expensive. And then the more I was out in Arizona camping with people, I got to thinking, well, why do I need to be in an apartment? This is working, and I'm slowly making changes, and I'm figuring this out. And this is being out in nature, I found, is what I need for healing, just to calm down. My health is good now. My numbers are always good when I see the doctor. I get way more exercise because I'm not stressed out here. So she passed away in December of 2020. And then it took forever because of COVID and so many people passing away. It was a nightmare trying to just get through insurance things and getting stuff settled, all that paperwork. Finally, I was at my daughter's for 2 months, constantly being on the phone and trying. And so I finally just said, I'm going to go back out on the road. You can just keep sending my mail, and I'll take care of it out there. I can't do this. I need to get away, I was tired. I don't want to live in someone else's home. So this is small, but it's mine.
There you
And
go.
I get to control what happens in here, and when I do what, and take my time. You know, this is the first time I've lived alone, and I'm in a car. Because you know, I got married right out of my parents' home. I got married, and then once you have kids, you're never alone until they're gone. And then by that time, my sister had moved in with me, so I've just never really lived alone. You know, so I like it. You know, so whenever I go. I figured, come to find out, 2 weeks is about my max as far as visiting. Then I start missing, you know, being in my space.
Well, let me ask you this. When you do visit your children or family, do you stay in your home in your van here, or do you stay in their home when you sleep in
No,
their
I usually
home?
stay in their home. Because a lot of times I'm going, like when I go see my daughter, I'm doing house sitting or dog sitting, and I tie a visit in on each end, you know, with them, and see the grandkids and stuff. But but in the middle, it's me and, you know, the critters, because they have a lot of pets.
Yeah, I tend to stay in their house too.
Oh,
I don't think they would put up with me staying in my van if I was visiting them.
And I don't think they realize I'd be just as happy sleeping
Me
out in my
too.
car. I'd be okay with it. I'm fine with it. Although this time my plan was to do that build that I did that didn't work out. But this year we had those crazy weather things. They're outside Sacramento. We had the atmospheric river come through. So that whole 2-week period that I was there, and my son was there too because it was the holidays, you know, came to visit. We only had 1 day with no rain. So that's when because my son-in-law was going to come back from their trip, you know, I was watching the dogs, and he was going to come back and help me build the bed, but we only had that 1 day. So my son got out there with my tools and helped me build that bed in that 1 day. So I never got to try it out until I actually was on the road. And I left, even though it was raining still, I left because more storms were coming.
Yeah.
So I headed down and was making my way out here. So I got here in 2 days, you know, just one night on the road.
And we've been out here how many days? 10? Yes, maybe?
No, I don't think it's been, well, I don't know. It's been a week at least.
Yeah, it's been a little over a week. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got here Friday and it's already Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You guys were nice enough that since I had the tools with me, you said, well, we can change your bed here, you know, because it really wasn't working out. It was we already talked about it was too high and awkward. So we did get it built out. It was a kind of a stressful day because it's that time of year when sunset is soon. You know, it's like 5:30.
And you had no bed.
Then I had no bed. I emptied everything out. So that's a workout in itself. So it's all out on tarps, and that's my first feeling. Since I've had the van, I've never felt homeless. But I did feel homeless that day because I was struggling to get a bed for the night, you know. So anyway, so we had it all laid out. Everybody helped. It was so nice, you know, really nice people here. And some knew how to use the tools. I don't. And so I'm learning slowly. But we got the bed done. It's in here. And then my back was killing me because I had not been sleeping well. I was about to die. So I had to, as I'm loading it back in, we got the heavy stuff in. And then I said, there's not much more you can do. I have to just find places for stuff because everything's changed now. So I'm still working on refining my storage and, you know, storage units, you know, because everything just changed with the change of layout, you know. But I still am able to carry my tent. That was how we set up where to put the legs on the bed. That's always been a requirement. I like the new change with the fridge on this end, so I have a nice big wide space here. I think it's going to, and the thing I did get, because when it was sideways, I went to a 30-inch piece of wood as opposed to a 25-inch cot, so that was a big change. So we cut it down to 28. I think we went to so I still got an extra 3 inches that I didn't used to have. So that's just enough to keep your arms from falling off at night and worrying about it's very, very comfortable. I do like the high density foam mattress better. And it's only 3 inches as opposed to
I'm surprised,
5'6".
It is very cushiony.
Well, I've got, you know, my comforter on top.
Oh, okay.
But I also have one thin layer of the egg crate stuff that was left over from my cot. I used to have that stuff underneath the mattress, just trying to, because it always sags in the middle, because the floors aren't level. So for a cot, unless you can adjust those legs, you're always it's not gonna be right. It's not resting on a flat surface.
Mm-hmm. But on this one, the way that you did the legs with the PVC pipe.
Boy, that was a pain in the butt, wasn't it? You were in on that one too. Because no one leg is the same height as any other leg, and we just...
Even side to side.
Yeah, even side to side. So we would get them in, it would still be jiggly, so we're trying to, how much, okay, and then we have to pull the PVC out again, cut a little more off, and it worked. But that took a long time, doing the legs. The rest of the bed wasn't too bad.
I think it turned out great.
I think it'll last a good long time because I don't feel like doing a van build anytime. I'm not even going to take it apart when I go to paint the walls. I'm going to do some, painter's tape. I'm painting it inside. This is where I need to be, out in nature. I'm on a list, like I say, for apartments, but I don't care if they call me anytime soon. I'm doing fine.
What if they do call you? What do you think you might do?
Well, I will still take it, of course, but I will I'll still keep the van and still, I would think, 2 or 3 times a month I'll be out meeting up with people because I chose Cottonwood for a reason. It's close to Sedona, Flagstaff. Phoenix is over here an hour and a half. Yuma. I mean, I can get to a lot of places. So if someone says, hey, we're coming through here, I'll just drive out and meet for a few days.
So you were able to pick the location that you wanted?
Well, yeah. I mean, because I went to 2 senior places in Cottonwood and got on their waiting list.
I understand.
That's what I mean by picked a location. And traveling, I may find another city that I think would be just as good, and I'll get on a waiting list there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, both the places I chose, if you're disabled, you have priority, so they're always put on the top of the list. So for them to get down to someone who isn't, then it's, they keep working on you, and people can turn it down and then you move up or whatever. But as of like last spring, I think I was number 137 or something like that. And so I have no idea where I am now.
Okay.
But I figure when they call, they call.
They call, yeah.
And there may come a time when I can't do this, something goes wrong, and I am disabled, and I need to be in an apartment. Then I'll do that too,
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid. A lot of people think, oh, I'll go to an apartment and I'll just wither and die because they're so used to this. And it's like, no, I know me. I'll go get involved in stuff. I'll go take classes. I'll go find people to hang out with. I'll do something. I'll go to the senior center and take class. Do things. I don't picture me holding up in 4 walls and getting depressed and lonely. That's a choice.
Yeah, that is a choice. And I think we'll keep you going with the nomads down the road.
Well, that's another thing. From here, you're only 3 hours away to anything. The camping you guys do, I can go to your things.
Right.
From when I am in an apartment. Or when you're out camping, I'll go join up with you when you come out.
That's right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking about your story.
Oh, you're welcome.